Hey everyone! Welcome back to Old Charles, your go-to spot for all things coin collecting. Today, we're diving deep into the 1983 United States quarter dollar, a coin that many people have in their pockets or coin jars. But what is this coin really worth? Stick around because you might be surprised by what we find out. The 1983 quarter is part of the regular Washington quarter series, minted by the U.S. Mint from 1932 all the way until 1998, before the state quarters program started in 1999. The 1983 quarters were produced primarily for circulation, meaning millions were made, so it's not exactly rare. Let's talk basics first. The 1983 quarter features the familiar profile of George Washington on the obverse and the eagle on the reverse. It's made from a copper-nickel-clad composition, weighing 5.67 grams and measuring 24.3 millimeters in diameter. In 1983, quarters were minted at three different facilities: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark. The Philadelphia and Denver quarters were mainly for circulation, while the San Francisco ones were proof coins made for collectors. So, does your 1983 quarter have a mint mark? If it's from Philadelphia, it won't have any mark. Denver quarters have a small D under the wreath on the reverse, and the San Francisco proofs have an S mint mark. Now, when it comes to value, condition is everything. Most 1983 quarters you find in your pocket or loose change are probably circulated and have a typical face value, 25 cents. But if you've got a quarter in uncirculated or proof condition, that's where it gets interesting. Uncirculated coins are those that haven't been used in daily transactions and retain most of their original mint luster. Proof coins are specially made with a mirror-like finish and sharp details, usually sold to collectors. Let's break down the approximate values as of today. Circulated 1983 quarters, Philadelphia or Denver face value, 25 cents. Uncirculated 1983 quarters, MS60, MS65 condition around $1 to $3 depending on quality. 1983 S-proof quarter, typically priced between $4 and $10 depending on the grade. Proof coins are a bit more valuable because they're made with special minting techniques and come in limited numbers compared to circulation coins. However, the 1983 S-proof quarter is still relatively common, so don't expect to find a huge fortune there. One last thing collectors love to hear about: errors. Did you know there are a few rare error varieties for 1983 quarters? Things like double dies, off-center strikes, or clipped planchets. These error coins can sometimes fetch higher prices if authenticated by grading services. For example, a well-documented 1983 double die obverse quarter could be worth a lot more, sometimes hundreds of dollars depending on condition and severity. But for the average person, the 1983 quarter is mostly just a cool piece of history and a solid everyday coin. If you're just starting your collection, these coins are a great way to learn about grading, mint marks, and coin condition. So, to sum it up, most 1983 quarters are worth face value. Uncirculated ones can be worth a few dollars. Proof coins from San Francisco carry a bit more premium. Keep an eye out for errors if you want to hunt for rare finds. Before we talk about value, let's dive into the fascinating history behind the 1983 United States quarter dollar, a coin that carries not just monetary value but also a story of American heritage. The U.S. quarter has a long and rich history dating back to 1796 when the first quarter was minted. But the design that most of us recognize today, the Washington quarter, was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. This design, featuring George Washington's profile on the front or obverse side, was created by John Flanagan, a renowned sculptor. The reverse showed an eagle with outstretched wings, symbolizing strength and freedom. Fast forward to 1983, the quarter was firmly established as a staple in everyday American life, used for everything from vending machines to parking meters. The quarter was still made from a copper-nickel-clad composition, a change that started in 1965 after the U.S. stopped using silver in most circulation coins. This switch was primarily due to the rising cost of silver and the need to keep coin production affordable. So, the 1983 quarter doesn't contain silver but rather layers of copper and nickel, making it durable for everyday use. The early 1980s were a time of economic change and growth in the U.S., and quarters like the 1983 edition were part of daily transactions all across the country. Millions of these coins were minted to meet the needs of a bustling economy. In 1983 alone, hundreds of millions of quarters were produced across 3 mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. While Philadelphia and Denver mainly produced coins for circulation, San Francisco focused on collector-quality proof coins. Though the design would remain largely unchanged for years to come, the 1983 quarter serves as a snapshot of America's coinage history, bridging the legacy of George Washington and the practical needs of modern commerce. So next time you hold a 1983 quarter, remember, it's more than just 25 cents. It's a small piece of American history, a reminder of the nation's past and its everyday story. Alright, now that we've explored the history, let's talk about one of the most important factors when it comes to your 1983 quarter's value: condition. Believe it or not, how well your coin has survived over the years can make a big difference in what it's worth. Coins go through a grading process that tells us how much wear and tear they have. This is especially true for the 1983 quarter, since millions were made and most have been circulated, meaning they've been used in everyday transactions. Most 1983 quarters you find in circulation fall somewhere between good and extremely fine. These coins typically hold their face value, about 25 cents. But if you find an about uncirculated or mint state 1983 quarter, that's when the value can increase. Uncirculated quarters still have their original shiny finish and sharp details because they weren't handled much. These coins are more valuable to collectors and can be worth around $1 to $3 depending on the exact grade. And don't forget about proof coins. The 1983 S-proof quarters are made specially for collectors, featuring a mirror-like surface and razor-sharp details. These usually command higher prices, anywhere from $4 to $10 or more if in pristine condition. When grading your coins, look closely at details like George Washington's hair, the eagle's feathers, and the edges. The more detail visible, the higher the grade. Also, avoid coins with scratches, discoloration, or corrosion. These defects reduce the coin's value. In summary, the condition of your 1983 quarter can mean the difference between just a quarter and a small collectible worth several dollars. So, if you want to get serious about collecting, learning to grade coins is a great first step. Got any 1983 quarters lying around? Take a closer look. And if you want tips on how to properly store and protect your coins, let me know in the comments. Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll explore some interesting errors and varieties from the 1983 quarter series.